Hey everybody, Michelle with Michelle's for a Living here. Thanks for watching my videos. And today I got a little craft project. I'm going to talk about how I made this little cookbook, you could call it, or a recipe saver. And yeah, it just uses 2 rings to hold it together. And yeah, so I made this, it's 4 inches by 6 inches, and I went with a standard size because, you might want index cards. You could do it with that. They come that standard size. You could dye them, or whatever. Run them through your printer, print recipes on them. You can get pre-printed recipe cards that are, ready to go, that are that exact size. They also frequently do the 3x5 size if you want to go with a smaller card. You could do them themed, so like Thanksgiving theme one. You could do Christmas theme, if you had that paper or whatever. Something else, well, now I've got paper here. I'll show you that in a minute. The rings that I use are these 1 1/4 size. I got at the Dollar Tree. There's some 2 inches. They make them even bigger than that, so you can expand it and make it a lot bigger. A hole punch, so whatever kind of hole punch you have, I happen to have one that I can adjust the position of the punch. So I shrunk it in a little bit, and this tape over here marked my edge where I want to put the edge of the paper. But certainly these are the standard width over here, these two, and it would work as well if you don't have one that you can adjust like I adjusted mine. But yeah, that's an old hole punch. I don't know what it is. I picked it up at a thrift store. Okay, so what I was gonna also say is I have one of these that uses this wire ring stuff, and you could certainly use that if you've got something like that. It just makes it a little more permanent. And mine, I wanted to be a little bit more flexible. I can add to it, I can take away. All right, and I was thinking this would make a good gift that I could write some of my favorite recipes in, and then have a bunch of blank pages and give it away to somebody, and they could expand on it if they wanted to. I was kind of thinking, like my niece, who, kids these days, they just look things up on the internet. They don't need a cookbook or anything like that. But this was a quick way. You could jot down a recipe if you really liked it. Just it's small and simple. You don't need to keep big cookbooks in the house. You just keep, recipes that are your favorites and really work. And I make up stuff all the time when I cook. I don't follow recipes often. And so sometimes I want to keep track of a specific thing that I did make up, and or something that really worked, and I can write it in here. So let me just flip through it a little bit. Also, I put little tabs. You can do whatever sections you want, or not have sections at all. I make a lot of one-pot meals. There you go, main dish. So see, I just write on it. If I need to, I could write on the back. See, here's a card that I put in there, and I used all kinds of paper. You can have some cardstock. I just used plain cardstock for these tabs. I just cut a 1-inch strip and did that. I'll show you. And I used this came out of a paper pad that was cookbook themed, and I cut those apart. And yeah, and some of this is a lighter weight, just like your standard weight paper. But I just wanted it to be colorful and fun. Oh, like this one is a little bit longer. I put a few pages in there like that I thought, if I had a really long recipe or something, then I could do that. I have a fermentation section there because I don't have anything in it yet, and but I have some recipes I want to put in there. So I like to ferment stuff. And then I also have a section for tips. So, whatever sections you want to use. I was also thinking, if you want to, if you've got some, stamps, you could decorate a little bit more that way. You could decorate with stickers and whatnot. So, okay. So I did pull a few pages out of some of these paper pads that you get at the Dollar Tree. They're like 6x6 and a little bit more. You could trim off the top, and then I just folded it under. But I was looking for ones that don't have a lot of pattern on them that you can read. That's part of it. You know, you like this would be really busy. If I tried to write on that, it'd be real busy to, and that's what happens with a lot of papers. So, you know, just pay attention to that. I had this paper pad. I'm not sure where I got it at. It probably came from Michael's. I go to a lot of thrift stores, yard sales and stuff, and pick up stuff like this, so I don't always know how old something is when I get it or where it came from. I probably did buy this one myself at, but I never pay full price. So this is the one that I used, you know, to get the heavier paper with the tabs, and it has this larger cut apart piece, and I use those right there. Plus I just cut out pieces from the other ones too. It's got some other pull out things in here. So that, you know, to make the dividers. And then, you know, I just, okay, yeah, look, here's, let me show you these. So these were inside there as well. And I think these came out of there as well. So you can cut those apart really easily. So you can see how going with the 4x6 size, there's 6 of them that you could get out of a 12x12 piece of paper. Okay, so I'll cut those apart. I'll make another one here. I got another one going. And also, if you're going to use paper with lines on it, you know, you might want to pay attention to which way you cut it so that you cut it the right way. So let me show you, like this one right here. I want the 6 size to go this way and to cut it 4 that way. So I'm going to cut 4 off here, and you can use whatever cutter you want. I didn't quite cut that all the way through there. There we go. And okay, so 4 that way and then 6 this way. I have enough of random papers around that I pretty much didn't make mine matching. I just did, you know, a bunch of random ones, sizes, you know, and this one wouldn't matter which way that it goes because of the lines. It doesn't have lines like the other one did. And yeah, so I just pretty much cut a whole bunch of them. I probably got, well, I don't know. I didn't even count. I didn't count. But anyways, so here's another pile of them that because actually, you know, I cut one strip off of there, a 4-inch wide strip, and I got 2 out of it, right? Plus using the cards. And then you can see these were the pieces out of that paper pack that I cut for the divider. This one came in that paper pack. That one did. That one did, and that one did. So now you have to punch the holes in them. And my hole punch here will, this one will take a couple of sheets at one time. So, so I think I'll do that. And then also, sometimes if you buy individual sheets, you know, they might have some words or something on the back. You just might want to pay attention that you don't put those in there and everything. So, I'll just punch all the holes in these, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so I punched holes in all of my papers, and these, I've got like, I think 9 sections that I did in mine. So, I mean, if I give some away, I don't think I put a fermentation section in them, you know, so, whichever. I was thinking an Instant Pot section might be good, you know, these days, and I might add one to mine. Okay, so, however you want to do it. So these are the ones that I was using as the dividers that came out of that paper pack, that I really wouldn't plan on writing on them, okay? And so they need little tabs on them. You could put the tabs on the side if you didn't want them on the bottom, that would be a way to do it as well. Or leave the tabs off. I found I've been using that for a couple of weeks, just to get a feel for it, to see if I liked it and wanted to make a video about it. And I really decided that I needed tabs. I just put the tabs on there. Okay, so I just cut some strips of plain cardstock, 1 inch wide, so I can fold it in half and then glue it down. So where's my other scissors? So let's make one that says sides on it. Okay, so I did use my scoreboard so I made sure that I folded it evenly and pretty, like, in half. Okay, now what's going to happen is it's going to get glued on the bottom right here. Okay, so and it opens up this way, so you got to be sure, and you don't want to write all the way to the top, because it's got to have some room to glue to that and have, you know, stick out. So I just have a Sharpie, and of course if you were wanted to take the time, you could print those off on your printer. So there it is. I'm just going to even that up a little bit. So you can make them however big you want. They could all be even. I didn't make mine even. I just made them fit for the words. And then I took some glue, and whatever your favorite glue is what I had here. Just make sure it gets all up there to the top so it'll stick on here. And just hold it down on there enough for it to, this fabric tack holds relatively quickly. You do have some wiggle room. I like it, and it doesn't warp the paper. Okay, so there's how I did that. So you can do all those first, or you can wait until you put it together, so you can line them up so that they're, you know, spaced out. Of course, now you got them there, you got to stack from the top. So basically you can spread them out. These cards, I kind of want to spread them out. Some of them seem more appropriate in one section than the other. Like that one would seem like you'd make an asparagus recipe on that one. You know, so I just didn't want all the same colors next to each other. You know, these cards, I kind of wanted to divvy them around. Some of them that, you know, seemed Christmas themed, I've played with them a little bit more. Like this one seems like a dessert. You know, I had a category for sweets, so, you know, I would like make sure that one landed in the category for sweets. So and I can't tell you how many of each I had in each section. I just kind of divvied them around, and because I used these rings, they do have a little bit more flexibility in you know, like moving stuff around later if you don't like where it's at. And that was part of my goal too, that I could move stuff around. Okay, so I have those in there, and these rings just pop apart, and they got a little hinge on them. Oh, I can't pick it up. Okay, there we go. And just stick it through there, and it's that easy. I mean, and if you bought pre-printed cards, I mean, you just need to punch the holes and put these together, and you're going to spend more time writing your favorite recipes in there to give it to somebody than it takes to actually make it. So, and of course, you know, put the tabs on all of them, and then you're all set. And also, because of you know, these rings like this, you know, that doesn't have to be the top. You know, this could be my top. I could make my snacks my top. You know, it just keeps flowing around in a circle because of having these rings on here. So it doesn't matter which one is on top. So, or you could make a pretty top, like get a piece of cardboard and make it a little bit more fancy and have a, you know, something that looked more like the front cover of it if you wanted to do it that way. So, all right. there you go. Thanks for watching.